Good
Rick,
morning. Good morning. It is Friday, 8:22, 10 a.m., and it is Friday week in review. Frank. Richard is here to be my co-host, and Alma is going to be the moderator to make sure she lets any stragglers in. Welcome, Lynn. Welcome to come in. And so, Richard, I understand you have a presentation you'd like to give us. Why don't you go ahead and open up with your presentation?
very good. Appreciate it, Frank. Here we go. The thought we'd start off by doing a little review of the initial process. And as we do that, we'll kind of get into some recent deals that have come through to give you an idea of exactly how this process works in detail. If you have any questions, we'll try to address those, but let's get started. Phase one of the process of essentially getting a lead and taking them down the path. First of all, from inquiry to qualified lead, there are three elements there. The first is a discovery interview, and that we've talked about many times, but it is absolutely crucial to have a really deep and thorough interview with the client, define their goals, their needs, how we can help them, get get the whole story. And then the second step, of course, is to pull their three bureau credit report. I'll just mention this. We had a client this last week, for example, who wanted to use a credit report that they had pulled from another source, directly from one of the credit bureaus, because she thought that was better than the one that we would get from our source. Uh, I can tell you for a fact that it really doesn't matter in terms of the ultimate goal, because this is a soft pull. And before the lender actually sends you money, they're going to do a hard pull. They're going to, at the last minute, pull your credit just to make sure it's there. So regardless of what your credit looked like when you pulled it, whether it was the best one you could find or one of the other ones, the one that they pull at the very last minute for funding is the one that matters. So it's not really helpful to try to game the system and try to get the absolute best little score you can get, because guess
Would you,
what? The score is not the end of the story.
All right, Richard, I'd like to. Let's go back to that last slide for a second. Quick, quick, quick. Okay. All right. So the discovery interview. Um, I don't like to dis. I don't disqualify. Some people like to disqualify quickly. I don't like to disqualify quickly. I like to hear what it is that they have to say. And I make this example all the time. I made it even when it was introduced to Richard. Um, if somebody calls you up, if you've done, this is your business. This is your business. Oh, I need to put my screen on. You can't hear me. You can't hear me talk because I talk with my hands. So, oh, and I lost my camera. All right. Oh, so this is your business. So when you advertise your business, whether it's social media or Craigslist or any way you advertise your business, when people contact you, they have a problem, and you need to be a problem solver. If you solve enough problems in for other people, you will get anything that you want. All of your problems will be solved if you can solve enough people's problems. So when somebody calls me and they say, I'm looking for a loan, I need $1 million, I listen to them and I say, what is it that you're going to do? The discovery interview. The discovery interview. Well, I'm going to be, somebody needs to mute themselves. Thank you. If you, what are you going to do with $1 million? I'm going to build outhouses on the moon, and and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build outhouses on the moon. Well, that's great. That is the exactly the kind of uh, investment we like to invest in. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Whatever. So the point was, I don't care what they say. Outhouses on the moon is pretty ridiculous. I don't care what they say. Tell me more about it. I want to know as much as I can about what they want to do. What is their goal? What do they want to achieve? What is the pain point? And I take notes, I'll say, "You don't, do you mind if I take notes?" Well, no, nobody I've ever spoken to took notes. Yeah, well, I do. Son, you take notes and you say, "Okay, do you mind if I take notes?" No, go ahead. Yeah. And you look for the pain points and you write down the things that they're saying so that you can have them to go back to further down in the conversation. So that the discovery interview seems like it's not very important, but it's probably the most important, number one. And number two, when you genuinely pay attention to what their need and their goal is, they feel like I have really connected with somebody who cares about me. I'm not just a statistic. I'm not just a number. I'm not a dollar sign in their paycheck or a decimal point in their paycheck. I really mean something to this person. That has carried me through 40 plus years of of um, of success and, and and great success. Anyway, the discovery was real important to me. Defining their goals is important, and then pulling their three credit bureau. The last thing I want to say about that is there are feel good credit bureau reporting agencies that make you feel good, whether it's furniture, automobiles, or houses. Furniture is the easiest, automobiles the next easiest, and then housing is the most stringent, or housing or business. They really want to know the real credit report. So many of these feel good credit reporting agencies give you a high number, but it's your retail number. It's not your housing number. So that is so important. I'm going to have a whole program on just that so that you thoroughly understand. People say, "What's my FICO?" And they think whatever they see is it. Well, it ain't. There's a lot of different things. We're not going to go into it right now. Go ahead, Richard. You're doing great. I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No, no, quite good comments. The second phase is to turn the qualified lead into a client. And once we've got the credit bureau, once we've done the analysis, if we're proceeding, if there's nothing that we need to do about the credit, we can proceed. Or if we've taken them through a credit program and they've completed that, it's time to move on to the getting the pre-approval package ready. We assemble that, we submit it, and we move to what we call a blue sky meeting. Now there's a blue sky, there's a gray sky, and there's a black sky. I'll show you in just a minute why we call it a blue sky. It's there's method to our madness here. And we present a success fee agreement and a pre-approval letter. They get a letter from us telling us that they are approved according to certain criteria, and we can move forward from that point. But before we give them the details of precisely which lender and the contact information and all that, we have to get a success fee agreement signed. In other words, we need to make sure that they have signed an agreement with us that contractually obligates them to actually pay for the service we're about to provide them.
So
And
can I
again,
break
we'll
in
talk
for a
about these.
second here, Richard?
Sure.
The fee agreement is so important because um, I'm trying to turn my airplane mode. Okay. Um, the fee agreement is so important because many times people will be out shopping and you may come up with a deal that is a killer deal, and people always ask for the wrong loan. People come to us and say, I want an XYZ loan. If you've been listening to their presentation, their their initial interview, and you've been taking notes, you may see, after you get a little experience, you may see that what they're asking for is not the correct thing. There's something much better that we can offer them, something that they'll get approved for, as opposed to decline, decline, decline. Now they're talking to you, waiting for the next decline. If But we're smarter than the average bear. We listen in the beginning and we know, oh, well, they're asking for the wrong loan. Let's tell them what will work for them, what they'll get an approval for, as opposed to getting declined for. So important, super, super important. Go on, Richard. Herman's got his hand up. You want to
Yes.
acknowledge Herman?
Yes, go ahead, Harmon.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one practice that I try and do is to never answer the phone without a pen in my hand.
Praise God. I used to be a sales manager and I used to drive around with salespeople. And I got into one of the biggest sales calls you can imagine. And the salesman didn't have a pen. And the and the and the borrower didn't have a pen. It was like, oh my God, you went into battle and you didn't bring your gun? Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. Good.
No,
Thank you. Thank you.
that's
Good,
absolutely a
good
good
point.
comment. Yeah.
Go on, Richard.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit deeper about this. In the hands of an affiliate, phase one, phase two, this is where the affiliate really shines. Throughout the process, the affiliate from start to finish, in other words, when the client gets his money and everything's completed, the affiliate is key. He really shines though in these two sections that we're talking about. The the interview the applicant to turn them into a qualified lead and then to turn the qualified lead into a client. The affiliate manages this process. Other people step in, other people help, but the affiliate is key. So more than anything else in the process, this is where affiliates focus. I would say after the three bureau credit report is received, there's a stop sign there. Nothing proceeds beyond that until you have that report and you address and resolve any credit issues that are there. They may go take a side route here and go into a credit program. You got to get through that, get it completed, get their credit report up to snuff before you proceed. It's going to make a huge amount of difference in the amount of money that they're going to be able to get out of the program.
So
But
let me
that's,
just say,
go ahead.
go ahead, Ben. All right. Let me just say about that is um, you come to me with, I got the world's greatest deal. And I'm excited. Yeah, yeah, man. It was $1 million deal. Yeah, it's the world's greatest deal. Yeah, and this is what they're going to do. They're going to build outhouses on the moon, and Elon Musk is going to have a stop there, pit stop there. If you need to take a pee on the moon on the way to Mars, great, wonderful. But wait a minute, they don't have any credit. They don't have any money. They don't have any job. They're living in their car. Really? Is that really what we're going to do? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Richard.
Phase two, once we get that credit bureau and we get his credit up to snuff, and on that point, of course, the affiliate is trying to do his best, but the credit manager is enlisted at that point and works with the client, works with the process of getting them in a credit bureau and or into a credit program and takes them forward. But once that's resolved and you've got a qualified client in your hands, what do you do then? Well, the underwriter will assemble and submit a pre-approval package. There are some documents that are going to be there. You know what they are. An application, perhaps, certainly the credit bureau, and certainly the driver's license, front, back, and so forth. But anyway, she will then submit that approval package. And as the approval package is generated, it's approved. It's responded to within a day. We had one just 2 weeks ago. We submitted it on a Saturday morning, and on a Saturday afternoon, we got our response. So it happens that quickly, but it depends on making sure that the underwriter and the affiliate do their job, get it packaged, put it together, understand that they got the best at that stage. They got the client up to the best credit possible. So in any event, the processing department will then schedule a presentation. It'll be done on like a Zoom call or some other type of video conference. And at the time of the call, the person conducting the call will send out the blue sky document and the
Before
pre-approval letter.
before we get to the blue sky, I really want them to see that. I want you to understand. I have an acronym. It's CIAP: credit, income, asset, property. Credit is first. Income, whether from the job, the business, the apartment complex, the wherever the income is coming. Credit, income, asset. What other assets do they own? And property. It's the subject property. If it's a business, if it's a McDonald's business, if it's an apartment complex, if it's a hotel. Okay, whatever CIAP, we want that CIAP. Go on with the blue sky.
This is what it looks like. We'll take a closer look in a minute. But you see that blue page. Well, that's why it's called a blue sky. It tells you right up front, hey, we got approval. But the first thing they're going to do is address important disclaimers and disclosures, just basic instructions to the client. And that's why it's on the cover. That's why that's the first page. The second page is the pre-approval letter. And we'll talk about that in detail in a minute. But that's what it looks like. If it's a gray letter, if it's a gray page, it means that, well, there's some issues that need to be resolved first. So the gray initially tells you right off the bat. If it's a gray page and not a blue sky, then that gray sky tells you that there's some important things that need to be done before the pre-approval letter is going to be taken.
Okay, so the blue sky, even though it might have some stipulations, pay down this, do that, whatever, it will give you what you actually need to do. Some people uh, might want to go just pay everything off and don't have any money left. Cash is king, you know, and so and we always use OPM, other people's money. So maybe they didn't need to pay everything off. Maybe they only needed to pay one or two or another thing off, and that might have the blue sky might have stipulations on it. The gray sky is going to have problems where we have to go back and fix their credit. We have to go back and um, put a lock on their credit report. Or take a lock off their credit report, and or major situations that we need to address. That's not going to happen overnight. The blue sky has little stipulations, or they call them stips. So we get rid of the stips. The underwriter can get rid of the stips usually quickly. Then we can move forward into the no sheet. I can tell you, Rich is going to talk about the no-nos in a minute. I had a guy who was qualified for a fabulous, beautiful home. It was a big upgrade for him. He was in a gorgeous, beautiful home. I got him all approved. Everything's ready to go. Just before closing, he went out and he bought himself a nice, gorgeous, expensive automobile. And when we pulled his credit just before funding, guess what happened? They found that beautiful automobile, and the deal was called off. I called him up and I said, "What were you thinking?" And he said, "Well, I thought seeing where I got such a gorgeous house, a nice car would look good in the driveway." I said, "Well, I hope you get a two-bedroom car because you're going to be sleeping in your car because we can't do the loan anymore. You you blew it." Go ahead, go into the no-no sheet.
Let's kind of wrap this up and we'll go into the next one.
Okay.
How fast we progress through these two phases depends on two people, the affiliate and the applicant. Our clock for processing and underwriting the loan does not begin until after we have a fee agreement. Now let that sink in. The clock doesn't start ticking until we have the fee agreement in hand. Prior to that, it's in the hands of the applicant and the affiliate. We've seen applicants come to us, they talk to us, we get to a point, and then they drag their feet. Something else needs to take place first. I mean, they kind of disappear for a time. 6 months later, they come back. Applicants take their time. They have other issues. They have a life. All these kind of things come in there. But it's the job of the applicant to hold their hand and get them through this process and let them know, look, you keep asking me how quickly you can get funded. The clock doesn't even start until we get this process to this point. Gail, you had a question? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Nope. Okay. Not a problem.
Gail, you have to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question, Gail. Okay, Casey, unmute yourself and go ahead, ask your question.
I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute. The computer didn't want to work. I have a question. How's everyone this morning?
Good.
Great.
Fired up.
Feeling good because
Okay.
it's Friday.
I know, right? Now, what is ezFinancial's fee? How much is what's the percentage of the fee on the back end?
God only knows. We got 100 lenders and over 100 lenders, and they all have 8, 10, 20 different products. Which product are you talking about? God only knows.
Well, none in particular. I just thought that do we charge 5%, 10%?
We have I'm going to give you an answer, and then we're going to move on because we got hundreds of different possibilities. Basically, I'm going to say on the unsecured business funding and the unsecured personal funding, we have 9.9%, which is about 2/3 of what everyone else charges. So I'm going to say that would be a pretty basic number, is 9.9% on the unsecured business funding. On the real estate, we're talking about anywhere from 3 to 5% on real estate. So we're under everybody else. We're less expensive than almost anybody else. And we're much more thorough than anybody else because of so many programs we have. But that was such a crazy question that it's an impossibility. Don't let anyone back you into a corner, because whatever you say is going to be wrong, because they might have a 2% something, and if you answer the wrong question, you shot, boom, dead, over. The answer is, it depends. What are you doing? Let's hear the whole story, and then Alma or Gail will get back to you with a quote, and at that point in time, you will see exactly what everything is going to be spelled out, and you don't have to guess. You'll know for a fact. So Don't let anyone back you in a corner with what's your rate. Your rate is the best rate that you qualify for. What's that? It's the best rate that you qualify for. You, your deal, your op, whatever you're doing. What's the rate? The best one you qualify for. Okay, that's it.
I would also add just one quick note. The larger the real estate deal, the more that number changes. If somebody brings us $100 million real estate transaction, it's going to be probably less than 3 points. And that's true for any really large deal. The larger deals, I mean, obviously we kind of reach the upper threshold and we begin to kind of give on those rates when it gets to be a very large transaction. But large to one person is not necessarily large to another. So be very cautious about that. I would say this, in terms of expectations, never guarantee, never use the word guarantee, but never say never. Secondly, under promise and over deliver. That's a good strategy to have for just about anything in life. And finally, high scores don't necessarily assure approval. We've seen FICO scores in the 750 range that have been turned down or declined because of specific issues in the credit bureau report. We've seen all sorts of issues like that. I saw one yesterday. He had 3 scores. One of them was like 710, and the highest score he had was like 785, and the average was 750. He'll never get approved because of what was in his credit bureau. There are just too many issues there, like 11 inquiries. The credit utilization score was off the charts. So don't be so focused on the FICO. I mean, it's a good place to start, but it's not going to be the determining factor. Any questions about that? Because that's an important point.
Well, I think that, yes, we need to open it up. Be thinking about your question while I'm speaking right now. Alma and Gail will be the ones that are going to be taking a look at, and maybe Richard as well, going to be taking a look at the credit report line by line by line. The 800 is just a place to start with. It's called FICO because it's the Fair Isaac Company who created the algorithm that determines the likelihood that somebody is going to go negative within the next 90 days or has the likelihood of going out negative in 90 days. You don't really want to use that as a number. You've got to have all 3 credit bureaus, and we got to go through them line by line by line. That's why the system that we have is the best system, because we can see side by side a comparison of all 3 credit bureaus on every product that you have on your credit. And therefore, we know if we've got a gigantic red flag, we know about it. We can address it before we embarrass the customer or ourselves. Ron, I will raised his hand. Yes, Ron.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, most people are going to be credit challenged regardless of the score. And this is where you have to really prepare them for the rescue, the follow-up, regardless if they have excellent credit. The follow-up call has to be immediately and with a purpose to prepare them for the next step. So credit is basically, now is done with algorithms that has been, data that's been built up for the last 80 years or what have you. And lenders are using those. They're not taking time to have a personal interview with anybody. They don't have the time. They don't want to. They don't even want to know you. They're going to look at that. They're going to send it through the system. The system is going to give them an answer. And it's up to us to have a system in place to follow up with that person to make them feel that they're not just a number. That is so, so important because money is linked on, is not a handshake anymore, is linked on how fast I can get my money back.
Yeah, exactly.
That was absolutely fantastic, Ron. Um, your deal was so completely spot on, and that's why we have right now two people that are in charge of the credit, Alma and Gail, and they have available to them. They have three different weapons or arrows in their quiver. They have credit repair, they have credit restoration, which is a little bit higher level, and then credit sterilization. And of course, the fourth one is business credit building. So they have the tools to talk to the person. And that's why I said the interview is so important in the beginning to find out, do you have a customer, that CIAP? Do you have a real person standing in front of you? And if we do have a beautiful person, got a fantastic idea, and they're credit challenged, they immediately have to be addressed by Gail or by Alma to resolve whatever issues that they have. The good news is credit and finance is a puzzle. We have all the pieces of the puzzle on our table. Other companies don't. Other companies send you off to Oshkosh Bagosh to go get your credit fixed and then come back when it is. Not, no, 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 no. That's not us. We take the client from a complete stranger to a family member. We go all the way through. We have everything that they need. All right, go on, Richard. That was a great question, by the way, Ron. Super.
The one final point I'd make on this slide is look at the difference in the funding amounts. You know, I mean, we have programs and some of them have different, you know, minimum FICOs required, that sort of thing. Currently, we have a number of unsecured programs that list a minimum FICO of 680. Well, the higher the FICO, the higher the credit profile, the better the credit profile looks, the more money that can be advanced. Just because they meet the minimum standard doesn't mean they're going to get the $50,000 they're looking for. You notice how those funding amounts change. If they come in at the bottom rung, they can expect the kind of bottom rung of the scale. If they come in the middle, it gets better. If it comes in a little higher, they get better. It's not all based on FICO. Don't misread this. It's based on their credit profile. And if they move up the scale, if you help them boost their credit rating so that they get a better credit profile in the end, they're going to get more money. So just meeting the minimum is not necessarily the goal here. We want to get them the most they can get. And the way to do that is to help them build that credit profile and improve it to the point where the lender says, hey, I don't see any problems with this. This is a good profile. They got good metrics. We can make a little more generous offer. We'll get into this. I've got pages that show you precisely what we got, but let's look at this. And sorry for the blurriness. This is a blow up of a scan. So anyway, got to figure it out. It says, important, please read. If it's possible, your credit has already changed from what we see on the attached report, please tell us now. That makes sense? No surprises. Yes. Nobody wants surprises. If you've got a credit bureau that's maybe 60 or 90 days old, they're going to want to see ultimately at funding, they're going to want to see a credit bureau that's at least no more than 30 days old.
No, at funding, they're going to pull the credit bureau. At
That's
funding,
right.
They're pulling a hard pull. So if you come to us with a credit bureau that's 30 days, 90 days old, we may be able to use that as a guideline to get started. But really, the professionals on this call will do the CIAP. They will pull the credit before they go any further. They will pull the credit, and then they will discuss it, because a little minor thing could be the difference between getting 75,000 to 100,000. Just a minor little thing. So yeah, the professionals here will get the people as much as they qualify for, as much as they qualify for.
And the subtopic here is we may be able to obtain your funding before the new problem or new debt appears on your credit, but you must tell us right away or we'll miss the opportunity. Second comment, do not do the following. These are the no's. Do not submit applications with other banks or organizations. New credit inquiries destroy your fundability. Our review process places no inquiries on your credit. Even worse, dual applications to the same lender always create declines and can even get you blacklisted for life. This is an important point because you never know. I mean, somebody who's going to be looking at this account and they look at it and they say, wait a minute, you've already got an account with us. Bingo. They're going to hit you between the eyes. Casey, you raised a hand.
Yes. What if, because I heard you say multiple pulls from the same lender. So what is the window of time if a person has applied to a financial institution and they did not get funding from that financial institution? What is the window of time that needs to pass for that person to go either back to that financial institution or go somewhere else looking for funding?
That's
A
a
really
that's a
good
good
question.
one. That's a good
Yeah.
one, Richard. Can you handle it? It's a good one.
I can handle half of it, and then I'll
Okay.
pass the other half off to you. The
Okay.
first comment is that, we have said before, inquiries on your credit bureau broadly. In other words, the inquiries listed on your credit bureau report. So long as it's less than 5 or 6, it's generally not an issue. Once the inquiries appear on there, they're going to stay there for 2 years. So it's a fairly short window, but it's still a long period of time. If they get to 5 or 6, or especially if they go over 6, you're in trouble because most everybody will decline because of excessive inquiries. Now, that's all in a general sense. When you're talking about specific banks or lenders, and the fact that you may have applied to them 6 months ago or a few months ago, that's a different story, and it changes by lender, of course. But it would seem to me that any lender that has an inquiry from you 6 months ago looks at your application now and sees that your credit score has dramatically increased and the issue that was there 6 months ago has been resolved, is going to be favorable to working through it. Just a matter of their algorithms that allow them the opportunity to actually come back with a qualification.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
let me finish the second half of that, Casey. It looks like you raised your hand again. The second half of it is what we're referring to is right now. The better you do the first screen, the initial interview, the better that you do the first screen, and the more that the client realizes that you are a true professional and you are going to help them, you can get them to stop shopping around. The problem that this is addressing, what Richard said, by the way, is 100% spot on. But the problem that this is addressing is my car in the driveway example. The people, if they're shopping around to get the best deal that they can get, and they they're going to other companies that do similar things that we do. And let's say they go to Chase and there's an application from XYZ company to Chase and for you, and there's an application from ezFinancial to Chase for you. Chase is going to look at that and say, this dude's shopping around. Hey, let's put this dude on the blacklist because, they're not serious. If you if you shop around, you're more than likely going to shoot yourself in the foot because where you were bankable yesterday, tomorrow, you're not bankable. That's what this first line is all about. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. And how can you, Casey, how can you prevent that from happening to your clients? Be right up front with them. You tell them that you are going to get them qualified for as much as that they humanly qualify for. You're going to try everything to get them the most amount of money that they qualify for, and you need to assure them that you're going to work harder for them than anybody else is. And if somebody comes in with a quarter of a point less, they'll stick with you because they know that you're going to do everything for them. And you told them that you have hundreds of lenders. So it's not just this. You can help this one problem that you're going to help them with. Use many other problems that you can help them with. All right. Gail is got her hand up. Go ahead, quick, unmute and shoot it. Let's hear it, Gail.
Okay, what I normally do with my clients, they're looking for funding, and today they applied at Chase, tomorrow they apply at T Bank or whatever the case may be. I'll take the inquiries off. So when they get ready to apply again, the lenders will not see those inquiries.
That's real important. That's not
That
something
works.
that is common. That is not common. Most people will not do that. But like I said, we have all the pieces of the puzzle on our table, and other companies don't.
So how are inquiries taken off? If they are so, because I thought I heard Richard say they remain for 2 years.
They do.
I submit them. I submit them to the bureaus, and they come off in like 24, well, 48, 72 hours.
But it's not just average, Casey. It's not something that's a run of the mill everyone does. That's the point. What Richard said is 100% true. What she said is 100% true, even though they conflict with each other. If somebody is out shopping around and they get a hard inquiry, that hard inquiry stays for 2 years and sometimes longer than 2 years. Generally speaking, it'll drop off after 2.5 years, it'll drop off. But what Gail is talking about is the magic that we do. It's not what everyone else does. All right, we're running out of time. It's 10:51. Let's keep going. Richard.
Second, do not increase the amount of debt on your credit cards. Usually this is not a big deal, but you need to just tell them, hey, put your credit cards away for right now. Use your debit card or, cash out of your pocket. Put them away. Don't do anything to change your credit profile. Do not allow late payments, missed payments, or delinquent accounts to affect your credit. If you have potential new issues that you're not reporting on your credit, not yet reporting on your credit, you must tell us immediately for us to have a chance to help you. Basically, that communication is key. So these are the do nots. And as you can see, it's on the very front page of the blue sky right here. And it's there for a reason. Even before the pre-approval letter, they want to make sure you understand this. We do. Now let's talk about this business funding estimate. This is the pre-approval letter. Very first thing, congratulations. Based on our analysis, your credit information, you qualify for our business funding program. This conditional funding estimate is pending the submission of contractual documents and confirmation of stated facts as presented to our office. Our firm's intention is to acquire an aggregate business credit card funding total ranging from business and personal combo, $150,000 to $200,000. Business only, 75 to 100,000. Frank, you want to kind of expound on that?
Yep. So when we do our presentation, people are asking for the wrong question. I want a business loan. Okay, great. Tell me what a business loan is. I don't know. I just heard I needed a business loan. Okay, what we do is we combine things. So you could get um, unsecured business funding, unsecured personal funding, and a personal term loan where we can go way higher than anybody else because we actually have three loans: unsecured business, which is business only, unsecured personal, which is personal only, and then a personal term loan. We can combine all three of those with one application. I mean, we are a little bit unique. We are unique in the industry because we do things that other people don't do. So what that means is right now, if you're looking at this and this is you have a choice to make. You can do a combo like it says up the top and get between 150 to 200,000. Or you can say, no, I only want the business loan and it'll be 75 to 100,000. When I was doing the initial interview, you told me you wanted as much as you can qualify for. This is what we can get you. Which one do you want? I just want the business loan. Fine. All we have to do is say yes, sign the document, and we're off to the races. In 14 days, you'll start to see the money coming in of your 75 to 100,000. Or
Frank,
let's flip it. They might say they wanted as much as they could get. And then we'll do this and bring them to somewhere else after they get this money. Go on.
Frank talked about the steps, and here are the steps. If the applicant is interested in obtaining the funding amount, the conditions below must be met. With completion of all credit issues listed, we'll be able to obtain the amounts listed above. And these are pretty simple, pretty innocuous. One, assuming aged entity with no address or debt issues. When we were talking about analyzing credit reports about a month or two ago, we were talking about how important it is to make sure that the report from all three agencies is consistent, that they're showing the current address from each agency, that there's no issues having to do with names, for example, or other debt issues that just kind of pop up there. So this is just a standard way of saying, hey, just make sure that there are no entity issues or address issues or any debt issues that need to be resolved. Personal portion assumes client can prove the income if required by lenders. This will vary by lenders, but some lenders require verification in every case. Many of them don't. And these people are telling us right now, this letter is telling our client that, hey, if you probably won't be required to even verify your income. This is especially true when it's W-2 income, if they're employed. If it's 1099, it's more likely that the lender is going to request some kind of verification. This funding estimate represents a projected aggregate funding total based on variables supplied by the applicant. Variables taken into consideration may include state, industry, time, business, current market conditions, existing personal and or business debt, and a review of the credit report no more than 30 days old. This funding estimate will expire on 8/31. So there's an expiration date on this. It's not going to last forever. They need to act on it. In order to achieve the projected funding, the criteria below are required. No new accounts or lending inquiries. That's throwing the
So,
gauntlet down. That's part of the
so,
note.
so, so like James asked me yesterday, have we heard from XYZ company? Have we heard? Have we heard? Have we heard? Guess what? You are the face of ezFinancial. It is your business. You are responsible to contact the client and say, did you read the approval? Do you know it expires on 8/31? Do you know what date it is today? It's 8/22. Do you want this money? Shall we get the ball rolling today? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't know. I was going to tell you the second week of September. No, no, you're not. It's going to be different on the second week of September. 8/31, it's over with. You need to go. All right, we got I hope you guys don't mind because I'm going to steal a few extra minutes from you at the end. No, it's my fault. Go ahead, Richard. Go, go, go.
We got 2 pages that are attached to the blue sky. One is our consulting and services agreement, which identifies specifically what they're going to be paying and how they're going to pay it, and what happens if they don't pay it. That's the 1 page that we absolutely have to have signed and returned before we move forward. There's generally, in this case, there's usually going to be an application that's a standard form that makes sure that we cover everything. We got lots of applications for different things, but there'll be one here in this package that is specific to what is needed in this case. It's just a 1 page deal. Then there'll be a limited power of attorney, basically giving us the opportunity and the responsibility, the authority to act on your behalf to put everything together. We don't obligate them to a note until they agree and sign with the lender. This just simply allows us to get it to that point. So there's no obligation here. I would say, first of all, in summary, the applicant to a funded client, the applicant takes them to a qualified lead, then to a client, and then to a funded client. Pure and simple. Processing, underwriting process. Credit manager and underwriter are going to get them to a pre-approval stage, and the underwriter will take them through the rest. So you notice that the affiliate isn't doing the underwriting. The affiliate isn't, responsible for anything except making sure that the client is involved and doing what they need to do and coordinating the conversation with the rest of the people working on it. And again, the 2 stop signs. 1, we stop here in this process. Must have a 3-bureau credit report before proceeding. And secondly, later when the blue sky is presented and the fee agreement is presented, they must sign it and return it before we proceed. They won't hear who the lender is or how much the lender is, what the terms and conditions are that the lender is offering until we get that fee agreement back. And that's it.
All right. Well, stop sharing the screen for a minute. I want to tell you guys that after every one of these webinars, I go through about 3-hour preparation to that's not what I wanted. I go through a 3-hour preparation after every one of these so that I can send out the replays. It takes me 3 hours because I do an awful lot of work. So to respect my time, I hope that even if you were on the call, that you look for the replay and you send it to everybody in your address book. You don't know who else in your address book might say, "Oh my God, this is exactly what I've been looking for," or they might say, "Oh my God, this is fantastic. Can I get a job with your company?" Or can you teach me how this is done? That you never know who will ask you that. So the replay is super, super important. If you want to take a quick look at what is in the replay. In other words, you don't want to waste an hour of your precious time. You might want to take a 2-minute look.
Who's on your advisory board? Unlock endless opportunities and become the trusted connector in your community. Welcome to another exciting chapter in our franchise success series. Here, the
Are we
smart
hearing
play isn't
this,
chasing
seeing
leads,
this?
it's having them
Yes.
directly.
Yes.
Yes.
Imagine heading your own local advisory board, an exclusive circle of established professionals. As the director, you're plugged into a network of influence, credibility, and opportunity. Why does an advisory board change everything? Qualified leads on autopilot. These board members already hold deep, trusting relationships with clients across all industries. Facilitate introductions, and suddenly your services become sought after. Your phone rings, your inbox lights up, and leads seek your guidance. Endless residual income, every introduction creates lasting rewards. You build credibility by association and become the local expert. Assemble the best in your area, become the director, and watch your reputation grow. By following the ezFinancial proven advisory model, you control your future. Ready to become the director your market needs? Call 479-208-9081. Call Richard Frost today.
Okay. You like that, huh? All right.
Oh my
Um,
God.
Okay. How do I get back to? I'm going to stop sharing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop sharing, and I want to go back to that screen, the previous screen, which was this one. Okay. And so I do that after every single call. I make a quick little 2-minute overview of what they're going to see. And if this turns them on, then they're going to click up here and they'll see the whole entire recording of this presentation just like it happened. So they'll see the whole entire presentation. And if they don't have the time, you can tell them that they can put it on 1.2 or 1.5% speed, and it'll go through faster than the hour. This gives them a 2-minute overview of what we talked about. This is for you. This is for you. You need to be promoting this. You need to be marketing this. You need to be sending it out to everyone. We are hiring people, and we need everyone to get the fox head. When you hear me talk about the fox head, that's what I'm talking about right there. I'm giving out leads of former ezFinancial experts that have, for whatever reason, have fallen off the vine. They all thought they knew I had COVID. They all thought I died, and they moved on in their life. I'm giving out 10 at a time. Everyone who wants 10 people to come underneath them and get the 50% override of what they earn, all you have to do is contact them. If you contact them, you'll get those leads, and you need to fill out this and get on this right now so that you're on my mailing list, so I can send you 10 a day, 10 a week, 10 a month, however quickly you think you can address them. And only thing I'm asking is, before I send you the second 10, return the results from the first 10. If you return the results from the first 10, I will send you an additional 10. I'll do it every day. I'll do it every week. I'll do it every month. It's up to you, your speed. Why do you want to be on this mailing list? Because first of all, you'll get all the replays. Second of all, you'll get all of the promotions that we do. And when we have a crazy promotion for a super duper deal on a loan, you'll know about that loan. If we have our sales contest, we're all going to go on a cruise, and I'm going to make it crazy simple so anybody can qualify, you'll be notified. So you want to be on this. So when you go see the fox head, let's go back to bring me back to my original screen. No, I can't do. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe that'll bring me back to my original screen. Nope. Oh, well, it brought me to another screen. Yeah, you can see that on August 20, I did it. On August 18, I did it. On August 13, I did it. On July 27, I did it. I spent 3 hours doing this for you. After every one of these calls, I spend 3 hours doing this work for you. I'm working for you. You are the boss. I am your employee. So this is the things that I'm doing for you. I'm going to stop. And um, Alma, go ahead and shout out while I'm going to the next screen.
Hi, I have to go, so I just wanted to say
All
goodbye
right,
to everyone. Have a
cool.
wonderful weekend, and thank you for joining us today.
All right, God bless you. All
God
right.
bless you too. Bye.
So the last but by no means least, then I'm going to let everyone go, is I promote the heck out of this webinar link. We know we do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Um, I'm sending this out to everybody that's on that list that I just showed you, the Foxhead. Um, there's the verbiage of what you saw on that 2-minute video, and start your journey. You need to be promoting this to everybody in your sphere of influence, whether it's in your address, whether you're marketing it on social media, whatever. You promote, you promote, you promote, and we'll deliver, deliver, deliver. Okay. And that's it. This is always going to be the same, whether we do the morning, noon, or night. Richard and I are considering doing an evening session. So that maybe we'll try it out for, 1 day a week. And we'll try it out in the evening to see if we can get more people. This is your business. You are the entrepreneur. It's going to benefit you tremendously if you grow your business. We're just giving you all of the tools. We have all of the pieces of the puzzle on your table. You need to put them together, however. Richard, um, Richard admonished me the other day about this. $20,000 commissions are common. This is not an income statement. This is not meaning that you are going to get $20,000 commissions. You must do this if you want this. You must do this. This. If you don't do this, you ain't getting this. Okay? So this is not an income statement. I'm not predicting that you're going to get $20,000 commissions. But if you do this enough times, this is more than possible. If you do this enough times. Now, pay attention every week to what we're doing, and you'll know what the this is. And then if you don't know, last but by no means least, you can go online, go to youtube.com. Once you're in youtube.com, once you're there is a search bar. And when you go to that search bar, you can type in Frank Alio, and you will have like 178 videos covering all kinds of things. So if you want to know how you do the buy, fix, and flip, you want to know how to do the um, unsecured funding, if you want to know how to do the any of the programs that we have, you can go back there and you can see replays on back, and that will take you through it. I'm going to stop sharing now. Thank you for giving me that extra 11 minutes. I didn't mean to steal those minutes from you. You know, I like to respect your time, and I like to close right on time. However, I thought that was super important. I spend 3 hours a day after this meeting to get all of that made so that you have all of the pieces of puzzle on your table. Richard.
Thank you, Frank.
You bet.
You're welcome.
Thanks everybody for coming. Like to know your input over time. Give us a call or email or whatever. Drop us a line. As Frank mentioned, we're thinking about maybe moving, at least trying out different times of the day and the week. We're kind of a nationwide organization now, so some of our people get up very early in the morning on the West Coast just to be a part of this. But maybe it might be interesting to try it out some evening with enough notice so that people can actually not be at work and not being doing other things that they can get on full time and not just see the video later. But anyway, give us your thoughts. We're kind of wondering if that might be a benefit to everybody. We think it probably would be. Anyway, that's all I've got, Frank. We appreciate everybody being here.
God bless, and may God bless you, and may God keep you. And that's our prayer for you. Amen.
Good job.